First episode begins with four men being strapped to the railway tracks for what appears to be a gruesome execution. From a distance, the man behind the orders, Frank Moses, preaches about the role war plays in boosting an economy. It is apparent that the words are closely related to the enduring political strife in Kingstown, and this new figure promises to shake things up even further. As the freight train unintentionally cuts through the bodies, Frank disappears into the dark, setting the tone for the rest of the season. The following day, Mike McCluskey learns that his brother Kyle has accepted the plea deal of a 2-year sentence for shooting at a fellow police officer. Although everyone on board understands that Kyle is not at fault, their hands are tied as far as the law goes. Mike helplessly watches his brother go to jail, where more than a few criminals are eager for payback. Eager to get his mind off the immediate frustrations, Mike picks up a call from Ferguson, announcing the discovery of the train track victims. The ghastly nature of the crime prompts more questions than answers. The only lead the crew has so far is the victims' tattoos, which indicate they are Russian. Given that both Konstantin and Milo are out of the picture, the probability of a new Russian gangster filling the spot is at an all-time high, and yet this display of barbarism strikes Mike as uncharacteristic. Elsewhere, at Anchor Bay, the correctional officers welcome their new warden, Nina Hobbs, who immediately sets herself apart from Kareem as a strict, no-nonsense leader, specifically tasked with ironing things out in Kingstown. Although Carney tries his best to regain his lost standing as a right-hand man figure, Hobbs shuts him down and instead secretly converts Jackson into a prison informant. Mike, still aghast at his brother's decision to turn himself in, reaches out to Bunny in the hopes of cushioning the prison experience. The drug dealer assures him that Kyle is safe so long as he is placed in an isolated cell, with the bonus support from inmates like Raph sealing the deal. This, however, hardly helps Mike's uneasiness, and he resolves to step into the ring himself. Although Bunny maintains a tough facade, the situation inside the prison is tense, and an exchange with his business partner, Roberto, only reinforces that. Given the bloodshed endured in the previous prison war, Roberto has lost a significant amount of manpower, including a drug chef. As compensation, he demands the complete profits of the next batch, pointing out how Bunny is the only one profiting thus far. As Bunny's representative, Raph tries to clear the air but only ends up making things worse, forcing the correctional officers to intervene and cut the deal short. While the situation in the prison continues to simmer, Mike heads out with Ferguson to narrow down the list of suspects for the train track murders. First up on the list is Shaver, a former acquaintance who has since raised a drug business of his own. Upon being confronted, Shaver not only denies responsibility, but also asserts that not a single soul in town has any connections to those brutal deaths. With word spreading fast, Mike wonders if this is a fear tactic by a foreign, more powerful player, and decides to reinforce all of his strongholds as a precautionary measure. Later that day, Carney gives the newest recruit in the corrections office a tour of the prison complex, detailing the ins and outs of how things work. The rookie, named Cindy Stevens, has been tasked with supervising the administrative segregation unit, which just so happens to be the new temporary abode for Kyle. As such, Carney's tour serves a dual purpose, informing her of whom to show extra attention and respect. Meanwhile, Mike's attempts to break the ice with the new warden fail, as Hobbs rejects any exceptional treatment for any inmate, regardless of their social standing. While this enrages Mike to no end, he chooses to bide his time and try other methods instead. On the way back to his office, he comes across an unconscious woman lying on the floor and proceeds to help her, potentially setting up a new thread for the future. Things do not get much better from there on, as Evelyn enters his office by force, hoping to clear the air about Kyle's fate. In the intense argument that follows, Mike lays down all of his pent-up frustration, most of which is directed towards her decision to send his brother to prison. The exchange ends on a sour note, with Mike declaring that she is dead to him. Although his emotional breakdown is understandable, Evelyn is bound by the law, and her refusal to twist or contort it is what cements the gap between the two. With seemingly no way of avoiding the inevitable, Mike picks Kyle up from his home and has to watch his brother bid a heart-wrenching goodbye to his wife and infant daughter. From there, the duo heads out for one final bash at the bar, where all of their near and dear ones are invited. In that list is Carney, who relays the new situation at the prison, much to Mike's dismay. However, he confirms that the new correctional officer, Cindy, has been properly coached and will be a big help from here on out. Mike returns to the party with a heavy heart, knowing that this is the last time he will see his brother as a free man for quite some time. On the journey to Anchor Bay, his biggest concern remains the horde of prisoners that might attack Kyle, given his background as an honest cop with several accomplishments under his belt. This fear ends up coloring their goodbyes, as Mike is ultimately unable to soothe his brother in any significant manner. While Mike sends Kyle off to prison, Bunny and his crew are faced with a different challenge on the road, as their car gets attacked by a group not belonging to Kingstown at all. After narrowly avoiding a barrage of bullets, Bunny gets Ferguson on the phone, who, in turn, clues in Kyle about this ongoing rampage. With 3 different parties now tackling the same target, it is only a matter of time before the path to escape disappears for the assailants. In the end, Ferguson catches up with the armed gunman and engages in a fierce gunfight, killing 2. The final blow comes from Mike, with one survivor being apprehended shortly after. Meanwhile, trouble brews at the prison, as Kyle, along with a guard, is ambushed by a prisoner who proceeds to bludgeon him viciously. Although help arrives quickly, the damage is already done, and Cindy comes to realize how serious a job she has signed up for. Later that night, Mike and Ferguson sit down for a drink and discuss the assailant they caught. The police officer reveals that the man is from Colombia, hinting at a possible cartel connection. Although both friends now believe that the cartel was behind the train track murders, we know that there is a different force lying in wait. Soon after, Mike gets pushed deeper into the downward spiral, following a call from Carney relaying what happened to Kyle. The scene then shifts to Kyle himself, who has decided not to visit the infirmary for his injuries. From the neighboring cell, a man calls it a wise decision, citing all the enemies just outside the gates who are eager to draw blood. The person is revealed to be none other than Callahan, promising to make Kyle's prison experience more challenging than ever.